Find your passion or die with regret. The choice is yours. Part 1. If you keep doing what you are doing, then you'll wake up one day when you're 35, still working the same dead-end job you had when you were 25, living in a tiny apartment, constrained by money, having no choice in life. Then you'll wake up when you're 65, your body becomes old, your mind becomes slow, you realize that you had none of your dreams achieved, tons of regrets, feels like you've missed out on life. Sounds pretty gloomy, no? We all need to have something to wake up for in the morning. Something that inspires and drives us. Ordinary people always stay up late because they don't have the courage to end a day of futility, worthlessness, and meaninglessness, and they don't want to wake up in the morning because they don't have the courage to start a new day and chase dreams. You want to be like, I want to live my life in such a way that when I get out of bed in the morning, the devil says, shit, he's up. Steve Maraboli. Part 2. Follow your passion. Those with very charming male personalities have some characteristics in common. They have clear goals, highly focused on their things, and always know what kind of person they want to be, and they will never call themselves a loser. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Frederick Smith. They already knew what they wanted from a very young age, and then they worked hard for that goal. They all rely on the guidance of their passions, and eventually made big achievements. Warren Buffett said, I advise students, as much as possible, look for the job you would take if you didn't need a job. Don't say, I'm just marking time to be older. That's like saving up sex for your old age. There are two most important days in life. One is the day you are born, and the other is the day you find out why you were born. If food and clothing are guaranteed when you are young, don't overthink the material rewards while doing things. Don't see that since people around you are working, making money, buying a car, buying a house, and having children, so you should do the same. I hope you avoid getting on the road of pursuing materials under popular consumerism today. You can't escape the fate of running on the hamster wheel once you get on it. You will work your entire life, never finding out the thing you truly love. Only wake up when the burden of family and mortgage has fallen on you. You need to set aside time for yourself to discover and understand what kind of life you want, how much effort you are willing to make for the life you want, and what you have to do to live your life the way you want. You have to think it out clearly whether the things you want are truly what you want, or they are things others tell you that this is what you should want. Your parents told you to get a safe, reliable job. Your peers told you to get a flashy sports car. Your girlfriend told you to get some fancy clothes. Ask yourself, what are the things that are truly important to you? If you pay attention, the truly wealthy people in the world no longer need external things to signal who they are. The majority of them live a rather frugal life because they don't have the need to prove their worth to others. They've jumped off the hamster wheel and dedicated their limited time and willpower on things that matters to them the most. Society tells you how you should live your life, and only when you buy this, then you'll be happy. Don't fall for that. Follow your dreams. Follow what deeply made you tick. For me, I want to travel to all the places in the world before I turn 35. Follow the call from the heart and live for yourself every moment. You only live once. One day, you'll leave this world behind. So live a life you will remember. I want you to make a commitment to yourself that you will never settle for less than the life you deserve, and that you will do whatever it takes to get the life you want. Many people would say, I have no choice. I don't want to get married this early, but my parents force me. I have no choice. I don't like this company, but I don't know what else I can do. I have no choice. I have kids to raise, so I have no choice. Is that the truth? In my eyes, they are all excuses. You do have choices, and you've already chosen them. You chose between submission to your parents over personal freedom. You choose between staying in your comfort zone with ease over fighting challenges of starting a new career. You chose to drink, play poker, and watch TV over study after work and call it de-stressing from your day of work. You chose to have and raise a kid instead of working on yourself first. You see, you didn't perform any action doesn't mean you didn't make a choice. Not choosing is also a choice, and not moving is also a move. Personally, I would rather fail at something I love than be successful at something I hate. Remember, even being hated for being yourself is better than distorting yourself to being liked. 而被讨厌也胜过扭曲自己而被喜欢. Vocation is the thing you are called to do. It isn't something you choose, it chooses you. Part 3. Finding your passion. One way to discern whether this is your true passion or not is whether you are happy with doing this thing itself, or you are doing it in order to let others know that you did it. If there's something you cannot mention it to anyone after you did it, no one will ever know about it, and you would still do it without hesitation. In my case, yes, I would still travel the world regardless, so then that can actually be called what you truly wanted. Otherwise, you're doing it just to satisfy other people's opinions and live in other people's approvals. Most people do not know what they really want. They all live on vanity and comparison. I don't want to climb ladders in the office. I don't want to spend money on trendy clothes. I don't want to buy new cars. I don't want to get married. I don't want to buy all those things and try to impress those people I don't care about. And that is completely fine. It's up to you to decide life in which direction is the real success for you instead of the success that everyone generally deems. As long as you are doing things you love, then you could never be wrong. One day, I will proudly say that I am now living the life I want to live, not the life that others want me to live. Part 4. Find your way of doing it. Some people say you should write 10 ideas every morning. Some people say you should keep desks clean. Some people say you should use the 4-quadrant work rule. Some people say you should exercise in the morning. Some people say you should use the tomato working method. Just look at the book Tools of Titan by Tim Ferriss. You'll see all kinds of ridiculous and bizarre ways that will supposedly help you to succeed. There is no absolute right or wrong way to live your life. There's no universal principle that fits everything and everyone in the world. Each of us has our own most suitable living method. You can choose to carve your own path or follow the road countless others have taken. Imitation is suicide. All the successful artists had their moment when they stopped being an admirer and find their own signature. You want to march to the beat of your own drum. I once read about a guy who's a screenwriter. His schedule for the day is as follows. Get up at 12 noon, go to the company to have a script meeting at 1 p.m., go to the street to shop for discs at 4 p.m., exercise at the gym at 6 p.m., and officially start writing scripts at 9 p.m. Then play a round of video games before going to bed at 5 a.m. My definition of living system is a set of life patterns most conducive to personal development that one learned through long-term life experience, along with trial and error. Again, find whatever works for you. As long as you're happy and can make money, you did great. Trial and error as much as you can while you're still young. A big mistake one could make is not making enough mistakes. Your teens and 20s are supposed to be a time of trial and error. Do not encase yourself in this insecure bubble that eventually leads to deep regret later in life. If you live like no one else now, then later you can live like no one else. If you can, spend most of your time at the intersection of passion and profit. If you can't, spend most of your time in pursuit of profit until you can afford to spend most of your time in pursuit of your passion. Regret is worse than failure. Will I still be interested in learning this thing if I could never tell anybody about it? That's how you know if it's something you really want to know. You don't expand by becoming someone else. You expand by becoming more of who you are. Alex Hormozi, the Greek philosopher Seneca, believed, true freedom is found not in acquiring much, but in knowing what to desire. Kanye West. First of all, dopeness is what I like the most. Make things as dope as possible, and by default, make money from it. Mike Posner. I just do what's cool to me, and every once in a while, the whole world agrees. Like Naval said, find something that satisfies both, and you'll never again need to worry about money or fear being forced to do meaningless work. Choose a career for the intrinsic rewards, not the financial ones. Hopefully, it's financially enriching and spiritually fulfilling. Don't care too much about the opinions of others, whether it regards to you or the thing. Because let me tell you the truth, nobody cares about you as much as you think. Like Shalon Lesta said, you wouldn't worry so much about how others think of you if you knew how seldom they do. People don't care about you nearly as much as you think. Nobody cares about you. Nobody even thinks more than 1 second of you. People around you don't care about what you're doing 99.9% of the time. They are just observing you to find out what they should do to fit in. When you wear a strange hat, people will not think about you. People will only think about how the fact that guy's wearing that hat makes them look. The way the people think is, look at that over there. What does that mean about me? How do I look at the current happenings of the matter? Everybody must be watching me because I'm the center of the universe. People are not looking at you. They pay as little attention to you as you pay to them. You need to chill the fuck out. No one judges you on what you wear, and no one will remember if something embarrassing happened to you. Live your life and be confident of who you are. Be honest with yourself. Trust your instinct. Stay positive. Focus wholeheartedly. Love what you do. People are not against you. They are for themselves. Everyone is too wrapped up in themselves to notice your shortcomings. Just own them and get on with your life. Always remember, all these people around you now, 99% of them you'll never meet again. You will find that there is no need to cater to everyone's opinion. In the near future, most people in your friend circle will drift away from you. You must live freely for yourself and don't mind what others say. Many people will try to tell you what you should do. Listen to them, but then think for yourself. Make your own decision and live your own life. You are the sole person that's responsible for your life, not anyone else. Robert Downey Jr. said, listen, smile, agree, and then do whatever the fuck you are going to do anyway. Listen to the words of most people. Take opinions of few people into consideration and finally make your own decisions. Don't blindly follow advice from older people just because you think that since they've experienced so much, then they must have learned some valuable lessons. Not true. Most people are mediocre. 50% of the people are below average. You have to remind yourself that it's their exact mentalities and philosophies that lead them to where they are today. Also, don't blindly follow advice from successful people. It might very well be survivorship bias. There is a YouTube channel called Evan Carmichael. He basically does compilations of the highlights of various celebrities' video interviews. It consists of notable actors, politicians, businessmen, and other successful people teaching their rule of success. You'll soon learn that most of them are not special, even to the point of being boring. They are just the right talent at the right time, at the right place. Each one of them feels that it was not easy for them, but they worked super hard and therefore have learned so many lessons and acknowledged so many things. But this is a typical survivorship bias. What about those people who adhere to the same principles yet failed? They don't get to voice. Each individual is too small a sample to conclude a success rule. Don't surrender your identity in hope of getting liked by everyone. First of all, you'll never ever be liked by everyone. Learn to be okay with it. Secondly, you are not going to get liked by being normal. Justin Ross Lee once said, "I rather half of the people hate me and half love me than all people feel okay about me." You want to be polarizing, be yourself to the extreme, and don't apologize to anybody for it. In the current internet era, social media has become such an empowering tool that people with unconventional interests and unique personalities have blown up. From insects, ASMR, origami, bird watching, poop analysis, any weird or bizarre things. What originally used to be small niche hobbies can now be followed by people from all over the world and be recognized and monetized. This should give you the backbone to stand up for who you truly are and be comfortable in your own skin. There's a Chinese poetry that goes, 长安远声啼不尽，轻舟已过莫冲山. The literal meaning is, the ape on both sides of the river scream endlessly, but the little boat has already passed through 10,000 mountains. The deeper meaning is that stop caring about all the other people's opinions. Just focus on your goal and you'll go very far. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Dr. Seuss. Most great men in the world have one thing in common. They don't fit in. The moment you stop caring is the moment you become invincible. I forgot people at the ski hill have an entire life that they're living and aren't just side characters in my day at the mountain. Do you want to be liked, or do you want to be effective? You can't have both. Cool people are considered cool because they break the rules and get away with it. Whenever people agree with me, I always feel I must be wrong. Hate never comes from above. That is to say that all those people that comment and go out of their way to hate you is because they are not as good as you. Because people above you never have the time or energy to hate on you. Alex Homorzi said, "You don't expand by becoming someone else. You expand by becoming more of who you are." Don't take advice from someone you wouldn't take criticism from. You are crazy until you're successful. Then you are a genius, said Mr. Beast. You will never be criticized by someone who's doing more than you. You'll always be criticized by someone who's doing less. If it makes you happy, it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. Listen to the majority, consult the minority, make your own decisions. This whole society is sick. Why am I the one who has to take medicine? It's not me who is wrong. It's the world that is wrong. I hope you have the courage to face the entire world in the future. Me personally, I don't have the courage. 99% of the people around you now will never meet again. You will find that you didn't have to cater to everyone at the beginning. Live happily and don't care about what others think. In the near future, most of the people in your circle of friends will drift away from you. Be honest with yourself, trust your instinct, stay positive, focus wholeheartedly, love what you do. Some people suggest writing down 10 ideas every morning. Some suggest keeping your desk a little messy. Some suggest using the 4-quadrant work rule. Some suggest morning jogging. And some recommend you use the Pomodoro technique. There is no absolute right or wrong in these lifestyles, and there is no universal truth in the world. Each of us has a way of living that suits us best. Part 6. Keep exploring the infinite world. We all have a life with endless possibilities. If you think about life as a video game, don't you want to explore the map as opposed to being born and living and dying in only one place? From the wide range of contents on the internet, I saw how big the world is. Merely on sports, there are sepak takraw, shin kicking, Eaton 5, toe wrestling, wife carrying tracking, cycle ball, fist ball, 360 ball, squash, carom, board games, parkour, wingsuit, bull riding, ice climbing, motorcycle, bicycle tricking, surfing, snowboard, grass polo, ice hockey, rugby, American football, baseball, cricket, racquetball. The list goes on and on. In fact, there are about 8,000 indigenous sports in the world. There's no way for me to try all of them, even just for once, before I die. See, if you've spent enough time on the internet exploring, you'll find that there are a lot of interesting people in this world, living a completely different life than yours, from ancient to modern, from domestic to foreign. Gradually, I come to understand that life is an infinite open game, like Minecraft. You design your goals and find meanings for yourself. There are 7.7 billion more people in this world than the people you know. Or, let me put it, 9.9999% of the people on this planet you will never even come across. So I had watched a lot of documentaries on YouTube. There are the heads of human trafficking, prostitutes in Dongguan, a man who lived in an internet cafe for 4 years, the actors who exhausted their luck just to get a small role, the immigrant workers who have no identities, no skills, and no hope. All the young people in big cities get drunk each weekend. The Hong Kong people who live in the cages. The youngsters who had their lives ruined due to drugs. Girls with only one leg. Young entrepreneurs who already made millions yet still troubled by all kinds of things in life. People who get frustrated by love. Middle-aged man works every day to raise his family. Some dude makes a living by catching snakes, women doing plastic surgeries just to look like a certain celebrity. There are countless ways to live. There are countless options to choose from. There are so many different cultures and different religions, all kinds of bizarre superstitions, endless genres of music catering to different people's different tastes. People live in such strange ways that you find it hard to even imagine. When you realize there are more ways to live your life rather than the current path you are taking, on some dark and lonely nights, do you ask yourself, which one do you want? Part 7. Keep learning and exploring. If you didn't die from studying, then study till you die. 学到死就往死里学. Why sleep so much while alive? You'll have a long time to sleep after you die. 就睡，死后只会长眠. It's better to burn out than to fade out. 残船不如从容燃烧. These are the mottos I used to use to inspire myself to study and strive. I can confidently say that in the past few years, every night I went to bed being a little more knowledgeable than that morning. In other words, I study or learn or grow each single day. After traveling to 24 countries and returning to my hometown in China, I realized how short-sighted of the people whom I grew up with still are. I've matured and grown a lot through constant improving myself. My old childhood friends and I no longer share the same level of perspective. Yet the most shocking thing is that they have no idea that there's a lot of things they are unaware of. They've never seen the outer world and Google. Their mind is stuck in that small circle and doomed to struggle within it for the rest of their lives. Sam Hunt depicted the same theme in his song. He described a situation of being trapped into a small town, thinking that one girl is all that there is, not realizing the grand size of the world, not realizing there are so much more fish in the sea than you could possibly imagine. Luo Zhenyu mentioned a very interesting concept, fool index. Just think about how long ago you felt like a fool. For example, some people think they were a fool 10 years ago, then his fool index is 10 years. Luo Zhenyu thinks he was stupid a year ago, then his fool index is 1 year. If you think you are smart all your life, then your fool index is your age. The smaller the index, it means the better environment you are in terms of learning and growth. If you don't think you were a fool a year ago, it means you haven't learned anything in this past year. I always learn and study new things and explore the infinite possibilities there are in this world. During your youth, the most important thing is to cultivate your own independent personality. You must have your own ideas and thoughts. You must have your own values, your own interests, your own direction, and you must start to understand yourself. Thanks to the internet, large quantity of information are at our fingertips in all kinds of forms like video, audio, and text. One can travel through time to know what NYC looked like 100 years ago and travel through space to know what a desert looks like on the other side of the earth. Frankly, anywhere in the world and any time in history can be reached by the internet. The world is much bigger, richer, and more diverse than we perceive, so try to take as many samples as you can while you're still young. Your first years of adulthood aren't about earning money, they're about getting acquainted with the universe of possibilities. Kevin Kelly spent years traveling the world before he settled down to write books. Be open and receptive. Find out clearly what you like and what you don't. Choose your racetrack before going into one, and once you become informed, you'll never be the same. You'll find it hard to go back to the old you. Just like freedom, because freedom is such a thing, to give you some and then take it away is much more dangerous than never giving you at all. Part 8, Comfort Zone. Here, the concept of comfort zone, hopefully you know already. The 3 areas in the graph represent your familiarity level of things you are doing. The innermost circle, the comfort zone, there is nothing difficult for you. All are the things you are used to. You are in a psychological, comfortable state. In the middle layer, the learning zone is a combination of some challenges and things you are good at. It strikes the right balance where you feel a little uncomfortable, but not too uncomfortable. The unexpected things keep you interested, and you always go into a flow state. The outermost circle, the panic zone, are all matters and knowledge that are too much beyond your ability. Psychologically, you feel very uncomfortable and upset. You collapse, you quit, you lose interest, you give up. I'm a person who doesn't like to settle. I spend the majority of my time in the learning zone. As soon as I find myself in the comfort zone, then I'll immediately push myself out into the learning zone. There surely come disadvantages of constantly being in the learning zone. I feel like constantly standing on my toes. Sometimes I feel tired and mentally exhausted. But if I look back at my life, reviewing the things I did and the achievements I made, such a long way I've made, I would tell myself. I had written a memorable life story for myself. Part 9. Don't fear endless truth. If you keep learning and studying, eventually, somewhere along the way, you'll come across this mentality of overwhelming anxiety and stress. Because you realize that there is too much knowledge to learn, there is so much content that even if I spent my entire lifetime till I white my hair and old my body, I will never finish everything. Not even close. Then what's the point of continuing to pursue knowledge if you'll never even cover 1% of it? Well, fortunately for us, a famous Chinese scholar from 100 years ago called Lu Xun had noted this mentality as well and had given a satisfactory answer to this question. He said, "Have no fear of the endless truth. There's joy in improving each inch. 怕是要真理无穷. When I was a kid, I ate a lot of food and now I can't remember what I ate, but I'm certain that some of them have grown into my flesh and bones.